Okay guys, time for another experiment. This time I'm still doing stuff on the S9 Plus, but instead of comparing it against the other flagship phones that are out, I wanted to see how it did against its own brethren. So that means that I took the S8, the S8 Plus, and the Note 8, along with the S9 Plus, of course, and took the same photo on each of these devices to the best of my ability with the angle and everything, all at the same time, etc., and then lined them all up so that we can go through them right now and see what the differences are. And before we begin, I just want to say that all of these phones have amazing cameras, but we're kind of just interested in the nuances between each one to determine, kind of which strengths each one has. Is it worth getting the S9 Plus if you were thinking about an S8 Plus, which is now cheaper because the S9 Plus is out, or is it worth an upgrade if you already have an S8 Plus, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so first up, my obligatory photo of coffee, because I like coffee shops. Right away we can kind of see that the S8 is a little more washed out. That might be due to the angle, although I'm pretty sure I got the angle very much, pretty similar to the rest of them. Either way though, it's funny, if you zoom in to say the coffee cup on all of these, you'll actually notice that the S9 Plus, which is our bottom left, is a bit sharper. Like the colors are similar, you can tell that all of these are made by the same manufacturer, so the color science is similar, but it's just a little bit sharper in that image, I would have to say, than say the S8 Plus and the S8, and maybe even just a hair more than the Note 8 as well. It also seems to be a lot lighter in like the shadow areas. So in our shadows we have a lot more definition than we do say on the other devices, and that might have something to do with the aperture that the camera has. It has like a much higher aperture now than the other ones. Okay, now looking at my friend here while she's working on her computer, if we zoom in actually to her first, by the way, if you guys want to do some zooming yourself, I'm gonna leave a link to all of these photos underneath this video on my site so that you guys can go check those out and mess with them as you want and compare them yourselves. But if we do zoom in her, she's actually a bit lighter than she is in any of the other devices. The S8, S8 Plus, and Note 8, I would say, almost took a very similar photo, if not almost identical. They did the same thing where they kind of blew out the back. They all kind of did that a little bit. But even their color choices are very much the same, whereas the S9 Plus for some reason stands out. And I think you can see that even without zooming in. You can see that it chose to do a different type of color on her, and that's just color balance, it looks like. But it's funny because the rest of the image looks the same. It's just her. But then if you do zoom in on her, or zoom in, even better, if you zoom in on the HP logo on the back of the computer, you can tell that it's actually got a little more detail in it. It's a little more light. I don't know if we're noticing a pattern already, but yeah. Moving on to the next one, I think we can see a much clearer idea of what I'm talking about when I say it lightens it up a little bit, right? So if you look at the S8, and actually the S8 in this situation kind of came the closest to the S9 Plus, but the S8, the S8 Plus, the Note 8, now they all kind of did a little weird, their own weird color stuff, especially the S8 Plus. But look at the S9 Plus, look at the cornflakes, look at the top of it, right? Compared to the Note 8, it seems not as in focus, period, but also like there's a darker tone to the top half of that, or the top third of that cornflakes box. Same thing for the S8 Plus and the S8 when you compare it to the S9 Plus. And frankly, everything just looks a lot crisper. I mean, like you can see in the Rice Krispies, speaking of crisper, you can see like the perforations on the top of the box, right, that go through the word Kellogg's. You can see those a little bit better in the S9 Plus than you can on any of the other devices. So yeah, I would say that the S9 Plus, especially in this image, it's a really good example. It kind of just did a better job overall. And the pattern continues. Here we have the S8, S8 Plus, and Note 8 all kind of going with the same color. They basically decided the exact same thing, whereas the S9 Plus is standing out kind of on its own, which is interesting if you think about it. But if we zoom in, we'll see that even on like the building, right, compared to the other ones, there's a little more detail. It's not a huge difference, but there's a little more detail in where like the windows are. Again, if you want to zoom in yourself, you can do that. I'll leave the links below. But there's a little more detail. It's a little more to the blue side. It's a little lightened. I think we're getting a pattern here for sure. Moving on to the nighttime shot, we lose the pattern. In my opinion, I mean, it's hard to tell, even if I zoom in any of these images apart. It's almost like they all saw the same image, decided to all take the same settings and the same photo, and that's basically it. So yeah, I think this one we can kind of skip over. It is a great shot, and again, goes to the credibility of these cameras. All of them did a great job, because this is nighttime. Like, to my eye, those buildings in the foreground are definitely not as bright as these all made them be, which is fantastic. Okay, next up, we're gonna take a look at, this is in Christopher Square in the Village. And if we look at, again, the S8, S8 Plus, and Note 8, they're all kind of doing a similar thing. They all have the same kind of a tone. Where you can start to see a difference here, and it's ever so slightly, is in a couple places. One, if we zoom into that yellow building in the back, we'll see that there's a little more definition, and it's a little lighter, as we keep noticing, in the S9 photo, especially definition-wise, than there is in basically all of the other ones, right? Also, I want to say similar thing is happening on the building in the background with the word duplex above it. Just the white is a little brighter. The whole building itself, actually, is a little bit brighter than the other two. And then finally, if we zoom into the figures in the front, I guess not figurines, they're pretty big, they're human size. Figures in the front, we're gonna see that, like, they're just a little more in detail. And this, I think, actually, it's funny, if you go throughout this entire photo and keep zooming in, you're gonna just notice that everything is just sharper on the S9 Plus than it is compared to all of these other ones. That tells me that, you know, the aperture or whatever else they're doing to this camera is definitely a better low light photography camera now than the other devices. It's subtle, it's not a lot. Like, me zooming in, I notice it a lot better. Zoomed all the way out, I mean, you guys let me know in the comments below what you think about it, but that's what it seems like we're getting at. And there you go. Quick camera comparison with all of the new Galaxy devices. Again, they all take amazing photos. If we're honest, you can't really go wrong with most of them. A lot of the devices this year, especially in like last year, just stepping up the camera game. It's good stuff. We, the consumer, always win when that happens. But yeah, let me know what you guys think of this video, of these types of videos. If you want me to do more of these, or if there's something I can do to maybe improve them. Always trying to improve myself and improve these videos for you guys, so please let me know in the comments below what you think of the different cameras, your own opinions. I really do read them, and I would like to hear from you guys. Also, reach out to me on social. I'm at The Unlocker with an E missing the word unlocker on every single network. Would love to chat with you there as well. If you like this video though, please thumbs up it or share it. It'd be greatly appreciated. Also, don't forget to check out the rest of my channel. If you like what you see there, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit the bell next to the word subscribe so you get notified when I do new videos. As always though, regardless, thanks for watching.